Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a Pink Panther stream for this Friday night. Hope everyone is doing well. A little bit flat, if I'm being honest. I have posted. There's a little bug on my screen. I've put out a TikTok and a tweet and a post on Big Footy and Facebook and whatnot. So just to give full clarity up front, obviously tonight I was going to be showing gameplay. Now I was going to be showing that as raw, untouched footage because I think that's the way that everyone wants to see it. It's just, it gives you a bit more of a better idea of what it's all about. So when viewing the files on my end from a thumbnail perspective, everything looked fine. But then when I was adding, and I hadn't really edited or touched it because I wanted it to be raw and as per what I played. But as I was adding a bit of polish on editing side of things tonight, what's happened is, for some reason, when the recording was taking place, as the game starts, a white screen overlay, if you want to call it that, essentially covers up the gameplay, and it doesn't remove itself. So we're not sure why. I've been on the phone to the AFL and Big Ant tonight for the last couple of hours. So we're not sure why it's done that, because it obviously didn't do it to Caden's and Twisty's version of game. But as soon as the ball is pretty much bounced, and I'll show you what happens. You'll see it in a second. This white screen comes up, which has unfortunately rendered the gameplay footage that was captured useless at the moment. So I do sincerely apologise. I can still show all the menu stuff, still works okay. So I can go through all that. I can go through a list of stadiums. And Big Ant have said they will get me back in next week at some point to be able to show you the most up-to-date version of the game possible. So I'll get some new screen captures done there. We'll do an edit up there as well, because their machines. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Jane TBA. Thank you for the sub as well, Smee. Much appreciated. They will help with the editing on site as well, because their PC is obviously much quicker and beefier than what mine is at home. So we'll work out a day next week. I'll head back in and we will recapture some footage as the most up-to-date version of the game as possible. And I'll probably just put it out to YouTube whenever that happens. If time permits to stream, I will. Much appreciated for the follows, folks. So I do apologise. I know everyone was pumped to see the gameplay tonight unedited. I was too. I'm still happy to talk about it and answer questions from what I played. I know that doesn't necessarily help a hell of a lot, and I understand if some people are shitty and angry at me. I get it, and I'm happy to cop it. But it is what it is. Like I said, real life stuff gets in the way as well. I'm not a full-time streamer, so I don't have time to sit down all hours of the day and go through every bit of footage well in advance, and this was obviously a bit of a time crunch. Like I said, the thumbnails kind of suggested everything was cool, and as I went to put a bit of a monologue and a bit of polish on it as the ball bounced, because I'd watched the first parts of it with the menu stuff, and obviously it was working fine, so I thought nothing of it. And then it kind of, as the ball bounced, it went kaput. So apologies, but I've got many stuff to go through, the different modes we've got as well in the list of stadiums as well. So we will get cracking into that. And like I said, next week I'll have most up-to-date gameplay as possible, and I'll chuck it up on YouTube and I'll let everyone know, and you can check it all out for yourself. So I'm sorry I haven't kept up with the comments coming through, but I'll play the videos that I've got. And Singer's good tonight. Thank you, Brody, my man. Thank you. And is the audio to the gameplay still? So with what I can show, you will actually see the first little bit with the audio that the team's running out. I think it was the team's running out. It's literally as the ball bounces. So as it zooms into the stadium, we can see all that. So you'll hear all that too. But apologies again. But I'll show you what I can. And yeah, we'll get stuck into it. So I'll bring up the first video. The soundtrack's not too bad. It must be said. So, I have heard. I do think that they need the Holy Grail on there, just for old time's sake. I think that's one of those songs that tugs at everyone's heartstrings when it comes to footy. Keegs, no, there is absolutely. I'll pause it. So I'll pause it to answer questions as they come, and I'll do my best, folks. There's absolutely more than one camera angle, and part of the footage I actually did have multiple angles. So there's like end to end, there's far broadcast, and they've got sliders where you can adjust the height like you would normally see in your 2K and FIFA games. So there is multiple camera angles. The one that I struggle with personally is the end to end. Same when I play 2K as well, because it flips and it's but it actually probably gives you the best visual representation of what's ahead of you, ironically. Commentary I found wasn't too bad. It's one of those ones, it's probably a very hard thing to nail because there's so many combinations of things that happen. Crowd audio is good. So with the crowd as well, it has been confirmed that the crowd sizes do vary depending on who's playing. So it's not going to be 100,000 people for GWS versus Gold Coast, for example. So that is tinkered. Yeah, dynamic crowds, that's right, which is cool. I know that was a big thing on people's list. So that's definitely in play. Blake, was there audio team? So there is. So at the end of the game, yeah, you can see the player singing the song. Obviously it hasn't worked for me tonight, but when playing it, yeah, absolutely. I think Kados had some footage of the halftime cutscene as well, which is pretty cool, how it goes into the rooms. Hang on, I'll answer some more questions quickly. Can't play Pat Collingwood crowd. Gold logos on jumpers each year, I believe, is in. I'll get to that point when I get to the game mode, I think, Grok. So I didn't even look at the screen. So in the season, so this is the season mode. So you can obviously do either AFL or AFLW. So essentially your options here, you can play as the full competition. So if you wanted to play every game of every team for an entire season, you can do it. Or you can pick a specific club and play as that club. Yes, crossplay, Smitty. Yep, crossplay is there. Can't wait to... we could just... Which I know, Josh, we should do a poll on that. So yeah, so I know there are some people out there who do have the thrill of playing as every team and controlling every game. So you can do that. So maybe you can manipulate an outcome. I suppose people wanting to do that. Can you make custom leagues? Oh, I'm not sure on that one, K-Mac. Good question. I can try and find out. All right, so as you go into your first option, you come up with the settings list. Will the stream be available? Yeah, yep, Jordan, I will upload this straight away. I'll upload the VOD straight away. So if you do have to duck off at any point, you can rewatch it tomorrow or whenever suits you. You'll do plays the full competition one time, Brody? Nice. I'm not sure. Well, this video actually was one of 3 videos, so you'll hear some of the audio. But yeah, I'll show you. You'll see it. You'll see it. All right, so you got your difficulty options. I'll tell a funny story later that J&T Big can confirm as well. Play as a club. Oh, actually, I'll go back to the settings. I should have paused it. So quarter length. I think another video shows some more quarter lengths, but I think there's 2.5 minutes. 3, 5, 7.5. You can go full length if you want to play a full-blown game. If anyone does that, please let me know how that goes and what the scoreline is as well, just quietly. That would be pretty cool. That's it, Brody. And that's the thing. People will do it to manipulate an outcome, to have their team win a flag. If they want some retribution, if they lost a game, to a team at some point and they want to get them back, they'll rig it so you can have a grand final match and touch them up. He's just blending into the crowd beautifully there. Yes, I'll tell the difficulty level story later, J&T. That was quite amusing. So the next one is Management Career, which is the next, I suppose, main game mode that's going to get a fair play, I reckon. Once again, you can pick between your AFL or AFLW. I don't know how close these ratings are. Oh, so what I probably should have said at the start, and I know this is almost irrelevant because you won't be able to see the gameplay, but the build that we were playing was the submission build, I guess you'd call it. So the ratings that you see here may differ to what the final ratings are, so just keep that in mind. Don't take it as gospel. King Loz, the game comes out on the 4th of May, so on Thursday. G'day, King. No, welcome. Brutus, I will talk about the gameplay shortly. It was very, very good. So in the settings for this particular mode, you can see there's a few more options available to us. I'll keep this paused for a bit because I'm sure there'll be questions. Obviously, you got your difficulty. The one thing I'll say, which kind of leads into the other story, the AI is tough. Maybe I was shit, but the AI was tough. So, which is good. Aussie, welcome. Does the game have career mode similar to Evolution 2? I didn't see anything, Aussie, but like I said, this build was like the submission build, so there may have been bits and pieces not there, so I'm not too sure on that part. PlayStation, so crossplay is in. I don't know about the crossing over from old gen to new gen though. I'm not too sure. There is King Loz, there's the Pro Team mode, which is kind of like your Ultimate Team FIFA comparison, which will be coming. I'll keep going through this. So you've got a few menus here. So you've got contract negotiation difficulty. So this is the meaty stuff when you're trying to retain all your players. You can obviously toggle that. I think I flicked through it here. So you can toggle that on to make it easier or hard. So there you go, hardest, easiest. So contract negotiations, you can make it difficult to negotiate contracts to keep players, which is pretty cool. Trade negotiations. So obviously, the ongoing joke is back in the day where you could trade pick 94 and a packet of chips for Chris Judd essentially and get him into your team. I think those days might be long gone, which is good. But I mean, trade negotiations set to, you can change the setting for that. You can enforce a salary cap or not. So I know there'll be some people who want to just spend up and blow all their money on whoever they want. So you've got the option there to just go and buy whoever and make a stacked team if you wish to do so. Obviously, you can't use that team online. It would just be for your offline mode. And the quarter lengths, I think this is here. This is where I went through it, actually. So we start at 2.5 minutes, 3.5, 5, 7.5, 10, full length, which would be very interesting to play. Yeah, Thursday's going to be good. It's going to be good, guys. And I feel horribly guilty that I've let you down with the gameplay piece, but I'll talk about it when I get to that part of the screen. But it was good. It was good.
Oh,
I appreciate the follow.
yeah.
Thank you, Salisi. Yeah, the trade thing's going to be interesting to see how that actually functions. Okay, so then you go into the next menu, and this is pretty much your little hub. So you've got your upcoming fixture with who you're playing. You've got your ladder on the right-hand side, and then there's a nice little stat box down here, which will... I don't know if that's going to be your stats for the game prior, or if that's going to be a cumulative, kind of like a breakdown of what this box will be. So, but I know a lot of people have been asking about stats, so that's something, it's always good to see the stat piece. So you can go into the statistic tab, and you're going to have an overview. There's disposals. So I'm not sure. I didn't play a game in this particular mode, so I don't know what that will eventually look like. But there is a stats keeping section, which is good. I know people were keen for that. I appreciate that, Grok. Yeah, technology can be a pain in the ass. What console I'll be getting? I've got a pre-order on for PS5 at JB, but I know we are getting the code from the launch night, which I'm hoping I can use on PC. I'm not sure if J&T can confirm if that's possible or not. I'm not sure what the differences are, but yeah, I'm hoping ideally for me playing it on PC will be best from a streaming perspective. So that's what I'm hoping to be able to do. Now I don't know what I was doing here. I exited and went back in. I don't know what I was doing. Like I said, I've been kind of troubleshooting the last couple of hours and haven't had time to fully neaten it up. But I did go back into the mode, which was good. Yeah, the menus are good. So you got your settings menu back there down the bottom again. All right, so then you can go into your roster, which is good. So it just gives you, obviously, your entire list, name, the role, overall. Again, guys, the overalls may differ from when the game comes out. And I do want to say, like, so we went there on Wednesday, and honestly, we walked away and we all said to each other that even if we hadn't have played the game and we were just there talk with the conversations we had and the questions we were able to ask and get answered, and just how honest everyone was, it would have been worth its weight in gold just going to talk to them about how things worked. It was fascinating. So with the stats, as we all know, Champion Data are having a big input into this. And it's some of the earlier builds, like the launch party night, for example, I think we've said previously, that was kind of like a direct dump of numbers from Champion Data. Nothing much was done to it. But once Big Ant get it, there's kind of another few layers that have to go into it to come to your final number. So that's why what we see here may not necessarily be the final one, and they are going to be updated as the year rolls on too. So that's the kind of ongoing support, which would be very, very cool to see. I just hope that Richmond's numbers don't drop too dramatically. Yeah, which isn't looking good at the moment. Bullshit cheese, that is serious. Wow, okay. Yeah, Brabs, I will. I'll talk about whatever I can. Once I get to the gameplay bit, that's probably the most prevalent time to do it. So you can see some of the photos on the side as well with the players. I didn't scroll all the way down. And I, just for full clarity, I didn't go in and check every team and do anything like that, because a lot of that we did on the launch night. So, I mean, later on I did pick a few Richmond things because of just being a Richmond supporter, I guess. Yeah, that was I didn't actually ask that question. I remember seeing a training section on the menu at the launch night, but not here. So I don't know if that's something that's coming. So my career, not sure. Keys, we've obviously got the management career at this stage. I'm not sure if anything else is to come in that space. I do hope there's a training option though, Grok. I think that will be good. Obviously the play online bit, we just had play now. It wasn't connected to anything, so I couldn't really do much in that space anyway. So it was, yeah, it was what it was. So I think I go into the academy here. Now, when we arrived, I mean, there was probably a natural assumption from the Big Ant team that I was going to play... Oh, hang on, do I go back into management? What am I doing? There was probably the assumption I was going to play as Richmond, which is probably a reasonable assumption, but there was a lot of requests for me to play as other clubs. And if I had have asked to play as a different team, I think J&T Big Ant would have pulled me up really quick, and he would have actually forced me to play as Richmond. Because I know a lot of you will have remembered, I posted, or Big Ant posted the screenshot and I shared it around, of Dusty Martin, the great man Dusty, and there was a lot of feedback about his tattoos, how they were was it the pink koi fish, is that what we call it? Or not pink, yellow. So J&T Big Ant had a special treat for me that the Dusty has been updated, folks, for you Richmond lovers out there. And I'll show you, I've got him here. Here's the main man. We'll see a few other Richmond players here as well, actually. So Brutus, I did ask about that because I'm big on that too, about the being able to play like that. So it's something that's I think they're going to look into. Obviously, it's all about the connectivity and servers and things like that. But as a good starting point to do 2v2 from 2 remote consoles is okay. But it will be good if we can get to a stage where you can have, 4 people playing each other from anywhere in the world. There's a build. I play of all leagues and clubs. So I had AFLW. To be totally honest, Aussie, I didn't actually check if it had like the Waffle or the VFL or anything like that. But given their grounds are in there, I mean, maybe that is to say that they are going to come in. So I will try and find that out for you. But it's a good question. So this is part of the academy. So you got some player ratings in here. You got Joel Selwood, nice little Big Ant Guernsey. No, so I'll go through the list of stadiums after as well, Orange, and I think you will be pleasantly surprised. You'll see some Adelaide-based grounds. Now, I did botch searching for this. I pushed the bloody wrong button when I was going through it. So I know not everyone loves Richmond, and I know not everyone loves Dusty, but after the comments that kind of came through about Dusty's tats, they felt it was necessary to make sure to show us the most up-to-date bit. Here he is, the great man, Dustin Martin. So you can see the tats are a lot more slick and refined. Got the grey, so no more colour. So it's a very, very nice upgrade. But I don't know the answer. But it'd be interesting to know how close to the edge that walks, because obviously the reason for the initial tattooing was because of the lawsuit that's going on with, was it Randy Orton, I think, with the WWE 2K game. So that's the great man Dusty. So I don't know if I can't remember what was exactly said, if they actually redesigned these from scratch or not. I'll have to double check, but it's, I think I do a little rotation of him as well, but they come up really well. Yeah, there you go. Even the footy comes up well. Where do you want me to move the cam to, Zach? I'm not blocking much, am I? Yeah, I know, and I completely understood the reason why they had to do the colour tats, but I am super glad that they were able to get it back to the grey, and hopefully they just don't get in trouble for it. And I'll try and pause as I go up the list so you can see some. I don't know. Once again, I know not everyone's a Richmond supporter, but just so you can see the likeness of the players. Got Liam Baker with his tattoos. I thought this one was a good one. Taranto. I know a few people were asking me on TikTok if Taranto and Hopper in particular were in the Richmond squad, obviously given they were traded to us. So, yep, they are absolutely 100% in for the Tigers. Oh, Sock Papa with D's nuts. Welcome, Socky. Now, I do have footage of me scanning a Sharon in using the scanning machine, which I can show as well later. I haven't touched that in any form of editing because I was kind of troubleshooting that. I was meant to be doing that tonight in the lead up, but obviously got caught up doing other things. So I will try and do that. Is there a career mode camera? I know there's different cameras for within the gameplay. I'm not sure if there's a specific one. Goblin, is there Quaffle, Waffle, Sandful? I didn't look and I didn't ask, if I'm being honest, but we only had an hour, so I was kind of in full cramming mode to get as much in as possible. But I'm sure I can find out for you. Do the crowd do their own chants? Oh, it's a good question. Geez, I did see people today, and maybe it was off the back of the Anzac game with how loud the Collingwood chant was. Not that I remember hearing, but that's not to say I missed it. I think so, Zach. Yep, I think Twisty's posting something tomorrow. So this is me just filtering through. Oh, thank you, Grok, for noting down the entries. Took Miller. And pretty cool, the Guernseys are all in there as well. And I know a lot of people have asked, but the Guernseys are going to expand rapidly. So I think we will see things like the Anzac Day Indigenous if they get sign off. So there's a few more steps in place to get those special ones in there. But the Big Ant team have got a real footy jumper guru amongst their ranks who loves all this stuff. And that's exactly why we have seen a far greater in-depth Guernsey selection this year than we have any other year. I'll get to that, Smick, so I'll definitely talk about the gameplay. Yeah, it's a pretty cool little logo on the background there. Orange, it's unbelievable. The amount they've put in is very, very good. So, with the Guernseys as well, tying back into the season mode, if you win the premiership at any year, so I know we're 2023 now, but say you win it in 2025 season, the following year, I believe you will get the gold badge on your Guernsey, I believe. That was how I interpreted it. And I think even all the information, even on the premiership dies and things like that, that's all going to say the right year. So they've kind of made it so it actually tracks your progress and is relevant to the year, which is really, really cool. And it was something, like, that's a small thing, but it's really cool. It is orange, 100%. So you would have seen a lot of this on the launch night as well. So you got your match settings. I don't know if J and T Big Ant's still here, but if we all take note of the difficulty level that I was playing on in this particular game, I'm probably actually almost semi-grateful that you can't see it now after how I disgraced myself. So stadium-wise, this is all the rest of the settings. I'll explain the rest of that story shortly. You got your quarter-length match difficulty, start time rules. So you can either do AFL or AFLW. Yeah. Thank you for the follow, King. Much appreciated. Welcome. You're playing Stoke. Very good. Ball colour as well. And you obviously got the weather options too. So when the developer was actually playing the second game, he tweaked quite a few settings. And he played a night game. It looked really good. So I have asked that when I do go back in that we can recreate that, like have a couple of devs playing gameplay as well, so I can get that kind of footage, because the way they played the game was far better than how I played the game. And I think it's important to showcase that too, because it probably changes how you feel or see the game. Rich, I know, Grok, I know. Yep, spot on, Mick, the fourth. All right, so stadiums. I think KDOS released this today, but we'll go through it again anyway. You've got all your main ones: MCG, Heritage, Adelaide Oval, Marvel, the Gabba, Goomba, GMHBA, Optus, Sydney Cricket Ground, and Giant Stadium. Now, I didn't get the actual visuals of all of the stadiums. It's just purely the list. I was probably getting a bit too impatient and wanted to play, if I'm being honest. And then I'll tab across to all stadiums. I'll read some questions first. Goblin, I'll get to that. If anyone's got gameplay-related questions, get ready to ask them, because obviously it's going to come to a point where the gameplay will stop, and I'll talk about the gameplay then. So, other stadiums. This is what a lot of people are wanting to know. Alberton, Arden Street, Blundstone Arena, Box Hill, Casey Fields, just down the road here. That blew me away to see Casey Fields there. And KDOS is absolutely bang on 110% right. You do not want to play there if it's windy. It is a nightmare to kick. Stony Hawk, dynamic weather. I didn't, but I think on some of the screenshots J&T Big Ant posted, it was a sunny day with rain. Like, I know that's probably not all that uncommon, but I'm not too sure if that's still in the game. Kazali Stadium, Churnside Park, Coburg City Oval, Fremantle Oval, Giants Stadium. As we scroll down, GMHBA, obviously, Great Barrier Reef Arena, Henson Park. I've never heard of Henson Park, actually, if anyone knows where that is. Heritage Bank Stadium, Icon Park, Kinetic Stadium in Vic, Manuka Oval, Mars Stadium, Marvel. I'll pause it there. Good call, Andy. Typical Melbourne weather, sunshine with rain. G'day, Sarge. How are you, mate? Welcome. Have you got your car yet? Hence Sydney. Marvel, MCG, Mineral Resources Park, Northport Oval, North Sydney Oval. I know a lot of people were asking about Norwood Oval. So, yes, Norwood Oval is in the game. Optus Stadium as well, of course. Preston City Oval. Yeah, soundtrack's not too bad. I didn't really hear all of it because we were kind of talking a bit as well, to be fair. But I think someone said there's maybe 12 to 15 tracks, I think I heard. So we just need the Holy Grail added. No, good, Mad Dog. Look, it is what it is, but, Big Ann have been kind enough to invite me back in to capture some footage next week, which will be the most up-to-date part of the game that they have, which will actually end up being better than what I would have been able to show you tonight anyway. So there's silver lining and a positive to it. Thank you for the follow, Higgin Brothers. Much appreciated. Super. I feel like the only major stadium missing is where they played for AFLW. Thank you, Maddox, for the follow. I can't remember what I know this is. It? No, I can't remember the stadium what it's called. But Josh, I don't know factually if they are, but I think from what I could tell that they're really heavily invested in the Guernsey piece. Like I said before, they've got a footy Guernsey guru on board, and assuming they get the right ticks of approval, the AFL and Big Ant are wanting to make this as much of a. I appreciate all the follows, guys. Thank you, Josh and who else is it? Flag Tigers, welcome. The AFL and Big Ant are wanting this to be as lifelike to what we know AFL to be and love as possible. So you will see little things like that be patched in, no doubt. So I think they'll be in there. I can try and find out a definite answer, but yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they should be in there. Mount Barker's grounds. We've got UTAS, T.O. Park, Traeger Park, Whitten Nova, Williamstown, Wilson Storage. Thank you, Tice, for the follow. Super, much appreciated. Welcome to the Pink Pandas, everybody. So yeah, so the only one that wasn't there that we probably talked about on the way home was Windy Hill. But I think this is all based on where AFL teams play and AFLW teams play, from memory. Oh, Timing, but thank you for the follow, much appreciated. VFL sides as well, yeah. Northport's there, yep. Oh, they're playing Tulla as well. Waverley's not there. It's not there, but I did. Where was I reading it? I don't know if I was reading on Big Footy or on a reply to one of my posts, but someone has said, because of the Academy feature where you can make your own stadium, someone has said that if Waverley wasn't in here, that they were going to make it, essentially. And that's the beauty of the Academy feature, is no matter what platform you're on, if a PC user makes Waverley Park and you're on PlayStation 5, I'm pretty sure you can adopt that into your game. It's kind of like a universal portal. J&T, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that's the case. So keep an eye on... Oh, Andy, was it you, was it? There we go. So the pressure's on you now, Andy, to make Waverley. So you're going to see a whole range of customised players, Guernseys, stadiums, all that kind of stuff that all users can make themselves and import into the game that everyone can use, which is cool. So I'm sure there'll be various threads on various forms where you can put in requests and people can make it. I don't know how easy it is. I'm not very creative with that stuff, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it works. The rules, Goblin. So the rule option, you can either pick AFL or AFLW, so you can't actually turn off specific rules within the game. So I know a lot of people were asking if the stand rule, for example, was going to be in the game. It is. I know a lot of us don't necessarily like the stand rule, but or understand it, but it is, yeah, the AFL rules or the AFLW rules are the options to pick from there, I believe. No AFLX rule, Sarge. So I've got into team lineup here as well. Now, I don't know where this next part fits in, but on the model of game that I was playing, it didn't have the full... the tactical side of things, and tactics are going to be a big part of this game, which is good. It just wasn't in this the submission build, should I say. But it does play, and you'll see, you saw from like even the screenshots from the Steam store how on the radar players were out wide and things like that. You can tell that things are happening like that. We can make a custom Pink Panther team hopefully. So that's your little team lineup. You got your stats. So within here, I think you're able to change your captain, change your kick out taker as well. I don't know if I go back into it or not. Yes, Sarge, I didn't touch lineup. That's the default. That's the default mode. And you can change, and you obviously get to pick your sub as well. Oh, thank you for the follow, much appreciated. Yep, Gibkiss is in there, absolutely. So all your current players are in there. All had the face scans done and everything. So they are all in AFLW and AFL. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm scrolling back for. So in terms of gameplay, from what I played, I'll try and recollect as much of it as I can for you. So as I said, I had the game set on easy. Keep in mind, this is the second time. Like the first time I played, it was obviously on the launch night. It's all a bit Russian. I didn't understand the controls, and I probably didn't understand it much better while it began, to be fair. But the gameplay, I think it plays really, really well. I know the big concern. Thank you for the follow, Speedy. Much appreciated. Kano, I'll get to your point in the mid-season draft in my next video. I know a lot of people's major concern is it a tackle fest? And I don't think it is. I think they've got the balance really, really well made, because what they've actually done is they've implemented other ways for the ball to come out. So if you're tackled to the ground, that's not the end of it. Depending on timing and pressure and things like that, you can actually still squeeze out a kick or a handball while you're being tackled to the ground or on the ground. And in fact, I'm disappointed I can't show it, but when the developer was playing, he was being tackled to ground about 15 metres out from goal, and on his way down in the tackle, he managed to squeeze a kick out that actually went through for a goal. So that to me is a huge, huge difference that we haven't seen before. Super, yep, the VOD will be going up at the end of the screen. Absolutely. Any gang tackling, that has to be someone from Big Footy. So no, Keys, every tackle is not holding the ball. No, so there's a couple of different mechanisms in place to get around that. Thanks for the follow, Tripper. Welcome to the Pink Pandas. So if you're getting tackled or you've got pressure around you or anything like that, you can use the thumbstick to do the arms up, so you can get your arms up and get a handball out. Thank you for the follow, Triple. Much appreciated. And it's Don. So you can get your arms up to dish your handball out. I feel like you've got a little bit more time to dispose of the ball whilst being tackled. And like I said, when you're getting tackled to the ground, you can get a little handball out or a kick out. And the best part of that feature is it doesn't just go 1 or 2 meters to the next closest player and then everyone converges on them. It actually goes like 5 to 10 meters away to almost the next players in the next contest. So it actually opens it up again. And obviously there's tackles. There's plenty of tackles in the game. But that's what footy is. So I don't want people to get deterred by seeing tackles, because tackling is part of our game. It's definitely not a clusterfuck like previous games. It's opened up. Josh, unfortunately, I'll explain that in a sec again. But no, I think they've done well. Did you see the stat screen? Ruck contests were good. I think the ruck contests were much improved compared to what we saw on the dev night. So I think you remember. I think you remember seeing on the dev night one that there was actually some ruck contests, but only one ruckman would go up, and it was pretty much the person who had timed it the best. So that was probably a little bit alarming at that point in time. But from what I played the other day, that is well and truly not in the game. So rucking's good. Yeah, tap it down as you got good control. My actual favourite feature using the thumbstick is the spoil button. That was my friend. So. And again, there's a really good bit of footage where I was actually running against the flight of the ball towards a Gold Coast player who was about to mark it, and I was able to get a spoil in over their head to my halfback who had freed himself up. He cleaned up the mess, handballed back over the top to the spoiler, kicked it down the wing, the Dusty, got at the jack and scored a goal. So that kind of plays like that made it feel so much more real and free-flowing. The spoiling's awesome. The spoiling is awesome. I love it. The other good part as well that I noticed is I took a mark at half-back. This is one of my favourite bits of play, taking a mark at half-back. And because the camera was on the broadcast, so a bit further up, you actually then I saw Nathan Broad running from halfbacks peel out wide towards the boundary line, and then someone else run to space as well. So all your players aren't flat-footed. Your players are actually responding to where you're marking it in different parts of the game. And without knowing this categorically, but I feel like that's a big part of what the assistant coaches did in their time at Big Ant. So yeah, I thought it was really awesome that they responded that way, and it helps to create good overlap and good run and carry. And I know that in previous footy games, you would try to play on from the mark and handball it. It would just go straight to the guy on the mark. I didn't notice it happening when I was playing. I felt you could get around it pretty easily, which was good too. KO will mean kick out. So I assigned him the kick out to do the kick outs for that. Dave, there will be AFL badges on the numbers. There wasn't in this version because it was the submission version, but there is in the final one. So, thank you, Pickets. For the sub, thank you. Much appreciated. What else was good with it? So I actually scored a really Richmondy goal. Worked the ball to a loose player on the wing. Prestia kicked it inboard, and I actually hit the wrong button. I must have flicked the thumbstick. And I tapped it down to Rioli, who ran onto it, and then delivered to Jack Reward inside 50. So that was pretty cool. So I enjoyed that. Thank you for the follow, Blake. Thank you for the sub picket. Much appreciated. Yeah. Absolute superstar. But yeah, gameplay-wise, so this is as far as it would get. It would do this. I'll be quiet so you can hear it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll play this bit again because I've turned the volume up. Appreciate the follow. And then, yeah, that's what happened. So I'll play it again so you can hear the intro and shit like that.
Hello, I'm Anthony Hudson. Welcome to Saturday Afternoon Football. We're live from
And that's what happened. So that's why, for those who've just joined, welcome, firstly. Yeah, I know, Eagles, I know. So unfortunately, that is what I discovered about 2.5, 3 hours ago that, like I mentioned in a lot of my tweets and TikToks and whatnot, that I was wanting to show you guys the gameplay footage as raw as possible. No editing, no touch-ups, no nothing. So the thumbnails and everything, like you could see watching the video up until, was all working fine. But for whatever reason, once the gameplay kicked in, that white sheet overlay, whatever you want to call it, dropped on top, and it wasn't noticed until I was adding some polish to the game. So unfortunately, I don't actually have any of the gameplay to show, but I'm happy to talk about it and answer questions. Oh, yeah, we can listen.
Hello, I'm Anthony Hudson.
Not sure, Dib. We got no idea. So I've been talking to Big Ant and AFL about it. We don't know. It is what it is. You can't do much about it. But I'll pause it while I'm talking because I'll play it again in a sec so you can hear it. But like I said, I'm going in there next week, hopefully, to get some new capture done of the most up-to-date version of the game, which will be newer than what this was. So that's a positive. That's some silver lining.
Teams will still be going hard at each other as they trial new ideas and battle.
So you can hear that, I suppose.
And here come the visitors.
So you can hear the theme song. So yeah. So that was that. Can you set different times yet? You can play day or night, Tyso. Was able to look into management mode. Yes, Triple, I had a look at that before. I do have another video that I will show that goes into a bit more detail with that. This one's got some cool features in it. So Pickett, unfortunately, the 12 AM thing is now no longer because that white screen, that's exactly what happens once I hit gameplay. So unfortunately, I've got nothing else to show on that front. But I'm going in to get, more footage next week that will have everything. So, so because this was the submission build Pro Club wasn't listed as one of the modes on here. Obviously, it's going to be there though. No, it's not under. So under the online, that play online thing, it literally just says quick play now. So I'm going back into management career here because there was a couple of things I didn't explore. I follow Richmond. So we head into this part, into list management of the management modes. So here you actually now get a bit of a look at the players' salaries and when they're contracted till as part of your management piece in the management mode, which is really, really cool. So once again, I don't know when these figures were generated or how relevant they will be to the final game, but you get the idea. So you can see what salary the players are on when they're contracted to, and then that'll form part of your decisions. And obviously it ties back to the settings that we looked at earlier, how you can make negotiations easy or hard or anything like that. There's a couple of, I don't really know many of the Crows plays, if I'm being honest, but you can see some of the Salopek. I know, right? Imagine if they were the exact numbers. So this is the next piece, which I saw a few people asking about: the national draft, mid-season draft, and rookie draft, which is pretty cool. So once you get your management career underway, these options start to become a thing. So we weren't able to click into it because I didn't play into this mode. But obviously you do get the chance to rookie draft. You get your mid-season draft, and I'm guessing it's going to tie, or the mid-season draft anyway, that might tie into the free agents we saw at the start of the stream. Spargo, Holy Grail is not in the game, but I think it might be trying to hunt that one down. I would be if I was Big Ant. Get the Holy Grail in. So you got mid-season, national, and rookie draft. Young Unicorn, I mentioned before that if you win I think I'm led to believe that if you win the grand final in, say, season 2027, the following year, you should have the gold badge on your Guernsey for that particular season. And the year will also appear on all your premiership celebration scenes and things like that. So that's a cool little small touch. So the watch list, I suppose, ties into your drafting and your recruiting kind of thing. So as you start playing, obviously, I didn't get to do it, and this is probably more me piecing it together a little bit. But players start to appear that are, targets, I suppose, that you want to try and draft in. You can add them to your watch list. It gives you their role, overall club, the league that they're in as well. I don't know if the overall start increasing over time as they get older and they get more experience before the draft. That'll be interesting to see what that does. But I thought that's pretty cool to have a watch list. I appreciate the follow. I don't actually have the soundtrack list. I don't actually have that, but the songs sound pretty cool. I didn't, Jordan. We're on a tight time frame because it's obviously very busy at the Big Ant offices with the launch coming up. So I didn't sim or do much more than really look at this. Oh, and obviously I played. I don't know what I went back into that for. We'll held the grand final. Yeah. I think with the follow Ratatats. How will the grand final logo be implemented onto the Guernsey? How do they explain it? So I think usually when you do Guernseys and stuff, some of it's embedded. So I think it's just a matter of not embedding it, and it's the way the code's written that, if Team X wins Premiership in 2024, then that means that the next year they get the gold logo. So I'm not very good with all the code aspect of things, but I assume that's how it kind of plays out. I wanted to see the... So then you've got the player transfer list from player movement type 2. So I don't know how that all eventuates or plays out, but it's just another cool little feature to have in there. Trade offer. So obviously when the trade period opens, you'll get all your trade offers coming up in here. And from what I believe, you do get offers made to you. So clubs do approach you and try and poach your players, and you can obviously do the other way and try and poach theirs. And obviously that comes back to the setting part of this mode where you can make the trade options easy, hard, or whatever you like. So, which would be really good. Who would everyone try and trade for? If you had a number one trade target, who's everyone going after? The gold patch. I believe so, Josh. I assume that's how it would work. What else did I do? Yeah, Nick Dacos. Yeah, I know, he's in good form. Jesus. So for those who are just new, welcome, first of all. So this is just one of the other screens that you get in the mode. So it's just a little bit of a hub with who you're playing next, the ladder, some stats on the side as well. Get Tom Green to Richmond. Hopefully we can do that in real life. Ginny. And that's going to be fascinating to see what people try and do with their first lot of trade moves. Any decent key forward to the Demons? Well, I mean, they're going all right. So there, I know I saw someone mention before the statistics tab, so that's what that is. Obviously, no stats available because I didn't play anything in that particular mode. So yeah, I don't have anything on that front. But no, the gameplay stuff played really, really well, guys. I think you'll be well and truly impressed. Without looks and feels, it's not cluttered. It's open. Players are running into space. So yeah, to cap off the rest of that story. So I was playing against the Gold Coast on easy, and for a lot of the game, I was getting slapped around by them. So a combination of, it was good to see because all the footage we had seen before was of player versus player from the launch night. So it's hard to get a gauge on how AI plays, but to play against AI, and I was struggling on easy, and JNT, he can confirm that because at the end, he was under the impression that I was playing on like some expert master level, and I backed him in. I thought he was right. And then he's, we'll check. And we brought up the main menu, and it was on bloody easy. I'm like, oh shit, that's embarrassing. So I was still able to kick goals, but the way they moved the ball, it was pinging around. They were switching play. They had free men. It was crazy. So it's one of those things though that once you understand the controls a bit better, because there's so many buttons and things to do, that yeah, you'll get better and you'll be more competitive. Des Blues, it'll be up on Twitch again after. I will post the VOD again later. She's with Richmond. So in the seasons mode, I know I said this at the start, but I'll just recap it for anyone who just joined. J&T, well, before you brought it up, I was going to go along with you playing on Master. You just think. I was getting shit on though. It was embarrassing. So in season mode, you can play either the full competition, you can play every game or every round, or you can play as a particular club if you wish. I didn't see anything, Sarge, about tutorials, and it was interesting because on the dev launch night build, I'm pretty certain I saw a training mode there, but I don't know if that is going to be in the final version or not. It's thank you, Sockpuff. It's no worries, Brutus. No, all good. I appreciate you stopping by, mate. Really, really appreciate it. Apologies again that I couldn't bring the gameplay that I'd wished, but when I do go into Big Ant next week to get the gameplay, if I don't have time to stream it, I'll at a minimum, I'll upload it to YouTube so everyone can check out the latest version of the game in all its glory. So I'll keep everyone posted on that front as well. Thank you for the follow on Pro Team. Do you know?
Yeah.
Josh, do we know if the sharing will change to Telstra sponsor for the finals? Well, I'll show you something on that in a second. I don't know if that actually answers the question if it changes. I think it will, but I'll show you something on the sharing in a second. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, the football scan. I saw someone ask before about the salary cap. Yes, you can turn it off. You don't have to have a salary cap if you don't want to. You can make trades easy, hard. It's so great. Sorry, Brabs. I turned off all the other things. I didn't turn that off though. Will the full competition mode span? I think the management mode is ongoing. The season's one, I believe it to be just a one season, I think, is how it reads. But the management mode is the one that sort of carries on. Do I think that Pro Team will be like Ultimate Team? It's going to be their version of, so I don't think we should expect it to be an exact replica of Ultimate Team or My Team in NBA. Big N will put their own twist on it. They've obviously got something sort of similar in Cricket 22. So there'll be, I suppose, a take on that. Obviously, we saw the Legends come out the other day, which is really, really cool. 2 from each club. And as the AFL said, there's plenty more Legends to come. So I saw a lot of commentary about people getting a bit shitty that, player X, Y, or Z wasn't in there. And while they might not be in there, that doesn't mean they won't be in there. It's a bit more of a process, I suppose, because you've got to get the individual player to agree and they got to be happy with their likeness and so on and so on. So, because I think they're trying to obviously scan in as many of them as well. So it's going to be really cool to see when that all drops. But I'm personally the most looking forward to Pro Team. I think that's going to be really, really, really good. We didn't, Grok, we were actually bitterly disappointed in ourselves that we didn't ask that question if there's an auction market or a trade market. We forgot. We talked about it in the car on the way home, but we bloody forgot to ask it, which is super annoying. But yeah, I don't know, Andy, if anyone is. But yeah, if anyone else has got any gameplay questions, feel free to fire them through. Yeah. Yeah, Joel Selwood's in there as a free agent at the moment. I didn't see any of the state leagues at all. I don't, but like, given that their grounds are there, maybe they are in there. I didn't actually ask the question, to be honest. Yes, Stony Hawk, good question. Thank you. Different sized ovals. Yes, the ovals in the game are different sized, and that does play a part in the tactics that you use within the game. So it's not just a blanket size for every oval, all's the same. It is all different, which is awesome. So you get to play in the velodrome in GMHBA, and you can go to the width of the G. So that is all in play, which is really cool. Yet the scoreboard issues fixed. So for Richmond's scoreline, it is in black. Black on yellow writing, I think it is. Black writing on yellow background. Like I said about the white wasn't the worst. It wasn't too hard to read in person, but on screen, I get how it can come across a bit difficult to read, but that has been fixed. What was the question, Dib? Sorry? You don't need to edit the amount of people that attend the game. It's dynamic, so you're not going to get the same capacity crowd for every game. It changes depending on who's playing and the occasion and things like that. Josh, haven't heard anything about player career mode. Not too sure what's happening there. Fast/slow players distinguishable. Yes, Stengu, they are. I mean, the obvious example, Maurice Rioli was running quicker than Nankervis, which was good. So that made me feel good about that part, because I know that in other games it can be a bit one-paced, and you've got centre backs running down strikers and things like that. That doesn't necessarily make sense. But yeah, I felt you could notice a difference. I don't think you can toggle crowds on or off Unicorn. I don't know, but I don't think you can. Rolling stat system. Can you get players like Harley Reid in the rookie draft? Yeah, I'm not too sure how that'll work, Zen. I assume that once the new crop of players get drafted, that they'll just get patched in, I suppose. Go Richmond, yeah, exactly right. I know, welcome. I didn't have a play around with the creator because I'm not very creative, so I was probably more keen to get the gameplay piece done. Will there be a coach? Like, I don't actually know if there's a coach or not. I'll go back to the other video because I showed the Richmond list. If there's a few more Richmond supporting people in here now, I'll go back in. But no, I don't think you can do your crowd size. I'll open that one up. Yeah, thank you, Sock. I did say, I'm not sure if you heard it, it's almost a blessing in disguise how embarrassing that was. Oh, so the other part as well, the lock-on feature. So if you mark the ball, you'll notice there'll be like a blue ring around your other players running around you. I think it was right bumper can toggle that around, and then that kind of passes it to them. But you do have to still hold the directional stick in the way you want to kick it. You can't just not hold the button, as I found out, because I kicked down the full twice. And I don't know if this was coincidental or if it was a deliberate reaction, but there was one time I marked it on the wing and my little toggle thing went onto Marlon Pickett, and he actually overlapped and ran into the space ahead of me. I stuck the kick up, but he ran into that space, which was cool. I do have Richmond's list on this video here, Dono. Well, I can go back to that. I'll let it play through, though, for people who have just joined us. They can have a look at the menu options and everything. Tempo of the game was good. I'd probably play, and this is probably more a me issue, that I play helter-skelter. I try and play it at all costs, but with the way the players moved around, you could definitely, with the lock-on system, you could definitely pick targets and move around. So when the dev was playing the second game, he illustrated that quite well, and even to the point where he marked it about 45 out on an angle, had a set shot, and he was able to then stab pass it to someone who was 30 metres out directly in front and able to hit him. So he obviously improved the shot on goal angle, which was really good. Snaps and all that as well. So kicking goals, you can, when you have a set shot for goal, you've got the D-pad, you can change it to either a snap, a torp or a banana, depending on where you're standing. And then you have to, obviously, if you're snapping it around your body, aim the cursor out a little bit more and bend it in and things like that. Quarter length triple, I think it was 2.5, 3.5, 5, 7.5, 10, or full length. Yes, Grok dribble kicks are in the game. So the dev for Big Ann who was playing, he did kick a dribble goal. He managed to get into an open bit of space. So it was an open dribble goal, but yes, you can. You can kick dribble goals. I don't think so with opposite foot. I don't think. I was able to hit full forwards in the lead. I was probably more hitting full forwards that were running back in either to a pack. And obviously I had Jack Rewalt, Tom Lynch, who probably had reasonably good marking stats. But if you've got a good defender with good spoiling stats, I think you'll be okay. J Bauer, welcome. Yes, I will upload this as a VOD to Twitch, and I'll upload it to YouTube as well. I'll upload it to YouTube. Will this game outsell Modern Warfare? I mean, Big Ant hopes so. It doesn't always lock onto a play, Jordan. If you don't use that lock-on feature and you kick it, depending how long you hold the kick button for, will dictate how far you kick it. There was plenty of times where I saw a player out in space and I kicked it and it just went way too far or not enough. So it does factor in. I think I did see suspensions, Grok. You could turn it on and off. We might even see it in this one. Tanuke, how does the rucking controls work? Does it take into account the timing? Yeah, it does. It does. So when it throws it in, there's like a little circle. That's kind of like your timing circle. It's the analog stick to tap directional wise. If you go too early, you just simply won't win the ruck contest. Which I think was the same in other games as well too. No, Sarge, there's no fight button.
Yeah.
Thanks for the follow, Dono. What's the difference between the season comp and management career? So the season one you play as one season, and the management career you play season on season on season. A few chapter punches. Brabs, the rucking is 100 times better in this than what it was at the launch party. So I think I mentioned, I'll pause it here so people can have a look at the list here. I think I mentioned the other day, also before, that the launch night dev kit that we were using, and you would have seen from the from the stream and the various bits of footage, but some of the ruckmen didn't even go up and compete. It was just the one person who won it. So that doesn't happen anymore. Both rucks compete all around the ground, whether it be boundary throw in or a normal centre bounce ball up. So it is much better. Unfortunately for me, Nankervis got a bit towed up by Jared Witts though, which is a bit shit. Create a player. I didn't have a look at that, Jack. I need to ask the question if I can do that. Selwood's there as this is part of the free agent list. He's a free agent, so that kind of ties into the mid-season draft periods and things like that. Good question, Dino. I'm not too sure about the injury, if there's a cutscene. Evan, welcome, firstly. Yes, the crowds are dynamic, so you won't get a sellout crowd for GWS Gold Coast. It will be relevant to who's playing and the occasion and things like that. It changes. Josh, I forgot to ask that question, if there's a ceremony for the Anzac round and things like that. I wish I had have asked that question. I didn't. I forgot. I'll try and find out, but I did forget. I'll pause that here so people can check out the great man, Dusty. Given I played at the 2 different nights, did you notice 100% Brabs? It definitely played better than the Frankenstein build that was at the launch night. So and like, I didn't mind the launch night one. I thought that was okay, but then when you see, and this was just the submission version, mind you, so keep that in mind, guys. What I played was the submission version, not the final version. So there's still another jump again from what we played here to the final version. And obviously we couldn't play the final version because it's locked. So it's the tats do look better. So to recap this particular bit, sock puppets, stop it. So when coming in, obviously there was a bit of hoo-ha about Dusty and his coloured tats. J&T Big Ant was kind enough to make sure I played as Richmond so I could see the new and improved Dusty with the grey and black tats, which obviously look a lot better on him. So that's a cool little update. No, I don't actually scroll down any further than this. Are they going to get real boots? I don't know, actually. That's a good question. Unfortunately, I didn't look at Brisbane Notorious. Unfortunately for you and for all of us, I suppose, that's part of the footage I had was the developer playing a game who used Brisbane against Carlton, but it's not working. So I'm not sure, Das Blues, if there's going to be a player career. I'm not too sure. We didn't kind of speak about it, so I don't know whether that's going to be in or not. Taranto. Yeah, so spoils, folks. Really use your spoil analog stick. Very, very, very good. It helps quite a bit. And I didn't do the stadium one, but would anyone be keen to see how they scan the footy into the game? I've got footage of that. I scanned a ball in, which was pretty cool. Oh, I know, Prestia and Nank, I know, big height difference. Oh, and that's the other thing I'll confirm as well, that in this mode, I know from, if you guys saw screenshots where the players in the circle singing the song were all the same height, and I know Ross did come out and then say, no, it's fixed in the real version. Even in this version, the players were all different heights, so make sure when you play games, especially for the first time, make sure you watch all the way through to halftime, because there's a halftime cutscene, which I think Kados showed today. And at the end of the game as well, there's also some cool cutscenes there as well, with the celebration in the rooms after the game. The players sing the song, you hear the song. Yeah, it's a nice little touches there. All right, I'll show the scan. The other thing as well, while looking at these grounds here, I was told that with Punt Road Oval in particular, because I'm obviously a Richmond Nuffy, that they've even gone to the extent of you can actually hear the train going past Punt Road Oval in the background. That's the level of detail they've gone to in developing these stadiums. So very, very small feature in the grand scheme of things, but it's things like that that kind of give you confidence that this is in the hands of people who actually love and care about the game, along with the AFL, of course. Mick, there wasn't in this version, but I believe there will be something like that in the game. Is there dynamic weather? I don't know, actually, Triple. That's a good question. I mean, I assume so, because that's how it plays, but I don't actually know the full answer for that one. I'm not sure if they got the nets or the shield there. They did say, though, that Punt Road was the most played ground during all their testing and things like that, which is kind of cool. I think Socket's because you don't have a team that plays there at the moment, is why. I'll go and find the footage of me scanning the ball. Shout out to Sock Puppet for doing some filming as well. And like I said, this is completely unedited in any sense of the word. So didn't really get time to do that, but it's a pretty cool. I'm just going to scroll up to the part that's probably most relevant. But so to kind of answer someone else's question earlier about the Telstra ball, well, this was actually the ball that I was scanning, which was a little bit different. So yeah, you got the old handheld device, hit start. I think I managed to not hit start properly a couple of times.
Oh,
thank you for the follow, Thomas. Much appreciated. So you can obviously see there that it's projecting the image that I'm trying to capture onto the scanning device. I fucking knew I was going to cop it for that. Don't diss the hairline and the jorts. Jesus. No, that's fair enough.
So once it's green on your screen there.
So you're going to try and keep it green the whole way around to get a proper scan. And that sticky tape roll is elite. Elite areas, that sticky tape roll. I don't know about that, Roxas. Not sure, Dengue, about the injury animations. Not too sure. I can try and find out.
Now it's scanning it for you. No, you just press it once.
I'll scan through. So you can see it's doing the scanning. You got to do a bit of a walk around the table to get the scan in. And then I will bring up the other video.
It's kind of confused. Yes, like it's not kind of the best scenario for us. So we want as lots of also reaction, we try to.
So this will show a bit more detail once the sock puppet wanders around behind me. Like I said, I haven't had time to edit this. Who's that cheeky devil in the background?
I can touch up and yeah.
So we're kind of more talking about the detail that gets on the ball. So
yeah, so with things like that, when we see a texture version of it, it'll still pick up that text in color. So what we normally can do when we're cleaning up the model later on, we can use the info from the texture map, color map, and kind of clean that up and work from there. I kind of just did one quickly beforehand. If you just show you that, just really quick one on the table.
I guess there's a bit of a, here's one I prepared earlier.
Very clean view planes of each side of the bowl.
Yeah, right.
Normally something like this. We try to like prop it up to something.
So there you go. So that's that was that piece, scanning a ball in. So that was pretty cool. And how they do that. But in terms of footage, that's kind of all I know, so I know they stitched me up massively. It was the longest walk around, and I kept getting in and out of range. So I couldn't get the perfect scan. I needed a little table. Massive stitch up from J&T. I'll blame him for that. But unfortunately, that's all the footage I can show tonight because of the gameplay issue earlier. So for those who just joined, when it gets to the point of gameplay, for some unknown reason, a white sheet or overlay hits as soon as the ball's bounced, and it didn't actually capture the rest of the gameplay. But because I wanted to show everyone the gameplay's raw footage in its simplest form, I didn't really... And the thumbnails looked okay, but I didn't really scroll past through it until tonight when I was adding some finishing touches and noticed it. So I do apologise. I think you got there was a pinned comment. And I will be going into Big Ant next week to get some more proper footage of their most recent version of the game, which will be obviously a lot more advanced than what I played. So that's going to be a win, and I'll be sure to post that on YouTube. One day. So I'll keep going for, the 5-10 minutes. Has anyone else got any questions on the gameplay or anything we saw? I'm not sure, Sock. I don't know if we can swindle that again or not. How do you reckon we'll go on that front? How was the commentary and were there different... Just while I'm talking, does anyone want the videos running in the background again? Or are you happy just to have this? How many minutes? Well, see, this is the increasingly frustrating part, Dono. Yes, vids, please. All right, so you don't want to see my ugly face. I see how it is. No, that's okay. I wouldn't want to see that either. In what sense, 100 games? Sliders, in what capacity? I'll try and answer as best I can. I'll just let this play. I won't pause anymore. What was the question, though? There was a question up here that I wanted to answer.
Oh, yeah.
Set shot. Gather round, yes, will be in there. Dribble kicks, yes, dribble kicks are in, Dave. Dribble kicks are in. The dev in the second game that we played kicked a dribble goal. He kicked a banana goal, snap goal and everything, which was pretty cool. In terms of how much footage did I have, so what I had actually recorded, I had me playing a full game of Richmond versus West Coast against the AI on easy, and I lost. Then I had a half of gameplay footage of one of the Big Ant devs, who obviously put the skills to better use, as Brisbane versus Carlton. So we're going to try and replicate that again next week, and we'll chuck it up on YouTube where possible. Pitch invasion for 100 goals, not too sure. How many bumps before you get pings? Oh, you can break tackles. Not too sure on the pack front. Obviously, microtransactions are in the game in some capacity because that was what was on the submission, and Ross alluded to that. Or he said it's on the cover as well. So, I mean, if we're putting 2 and 2 together, it's going to be related to Pro Team, but in what capacity, I'm not too sure. Yes, Sanger, I'll let this play through and you'll hear some commentary at the end for about 20 seconds. The set shot meter and confidence. Did I ask about that? I think I did ask, and I think in general play, there's a little bit to do with the amount of pressure that's on the person kicking the ball as well as to if it goes in or not. I'm not sure if I addressed the confidence meter / exhaustion piece though. I'll try and get that answered though. I think Dono's season is just a one-off season, but the management mode you play year on year on year, and you can trade players and draft players and do all that kind of stuff. The man himself, any idea if we can choose specific commentators? It's assigned teams, so I don't think you'll get the AFLW commentators for the AFL game, if that's kind of what you were asking. Who's my internet provider? I'm with Exetel. Why is that? I've got very limited options here because we're Opticom. Could you get a feel for different players' abilities, or do players feel generic? I probably didn't play it long enough to get a good gauge on that, to be honest. You could tell the difference with people's speeds. You could definitely tell that. You could definitely tell the difference in ruckman in terms of height. Like Jared Witts versus Nankervis, for example, there's clearly a height difference between the two of them. And I would lose more ruck contests than I would win. And that was even on easy because Jared Witts is simply a taller player than Nankervis. So, and the speed as well, you could tell differences on speed. Aussie, welcome. Indigenous round Guernseys. I think they'll be in there. I don't know categorically, but I know they've got a real footy Guernsey buff who is all over this stuff. They can get the right approvals. I don't doubt that it'll be in there. I think the AFL and Big Ant want this game to resemble as close to real life AFL as possible, and that's obviously part of that. Not sure, Dave, on the play career mode. I didn't get to speak about that part. I'm not too sure. Good question. I'm not sure about the preseason games. I didn't actually start a game in their mode. Dono, yes, there is mid-season draft, there is national draft, and there is a rookie draft that you can do in the management career, which is on the second video. If we've got time, I'll run that again later. So yeah, there is definitely there. Oh, thank you, Stony Hawk. I don't know, Roxas. I'm not too sure if they'll have State League. I'm assuming it's going to be Legends. I assume there'll be all the current players. There's a card option in there as well, like what we see with 2K and FIFA and whatnot. Did ask how frequently and or how in-depth their patches will be throughout the year. AGC, welcome, Russo. This game will be heavily looked after post-launch. It's not going to be, here's your game, see you later. They're going to be updating it with patches for, I suppose, with new Guernseys if they come out. They're going to update player rankings when they come out. They're going to obviously be updating Pro Team as more Legends become available down the track. So there's a whole raft of things they're going to be including in the game as the year goes on. So they will definitely be, keeping this game pumping for the season. It's not just here's the game and see you later. So we will get post-game support, no doubt about it. Pro Team, I I think it'll be close to being out and release. I assume they've got to just make sure that they've got all the legends signed off on, I gather. And like, I think Ross said it in Twisty's interview that he always said that he won't release Pro Team unless it's got legends and ready to go. Like, they're not going to release a half-baked concept. So, and I respect that, because all people will do is criticise it, and that defeats the purpose. How bad are the Hawks racings going, Jason? Oh, not too bad. No, I didn't actually look, to be honest. Thank you, Harrison, for the follow. In Caden's footage, I saw 5 players standing in the protected area doing nothing. I haven't... Was it a still shot, though, or was it the actual footage? Because even on... I didn't really... Like, because I do remember seeing a lot of people talking about players standing still. I didn't notice it. Maybe I wasn't looking out for it, but every time I marked the ball, or was having a set shot, players were on the move and darting in and out and wandering around and doing all kinds of stuff. Des Blues, do you reckon we get news every day until release? I'm not sure. I mean, I think tomorrow Twisty's posting some videos. I don't know if Caden's got more to come as well, but from an official standpoint, I'm not too sure. Josh, you like that one day? Adam, are you learning lots, Josh, or are you like, what the hell is going on? Seems like the crowd stand up late after a goal. Again, Josh, to be totally honest with you, it's not something I paid attention to. You might be right. I assume things like that, I imagine, will be relatively easy fixes at a guess. Like I said, I don't know a lot about crowds, but code, sorry. 100 games, were there any team tactics you could change? Not in the version that we played. The tactic piece was missing from this, because this build was the submission build, which has happened quite, I don't want to say quite some time ago, but a little while ago. So the version that's available now, or we're going to get on the 4th, is obviously much different to what this is, which gives me great hope, because it's obviously going to be better again than what we played. And tactics are in it. Tactics are a big part, and the tactics we see on the coaches' boards at the cutscenes may have a correlation or two, potentially. Crowd look better than Evo's sock. Yeah, good call. Good call. This is what papers are we getting served, Sarge? The commentating was okay. I felt at times it was still maybe a little bit robotic, or you could tell the sentences were broken, but there's so many combinations that I imagine it's probably hard to get right. But look, probably not overall as fluent as what your fee from that is, which is probably easy to commentate. But you know, it was a good variety. There was enough different voices going on, which was good. You might hear some of it at the start here, potentially. Do you play the final version when you go in next week? Not sure, Des Blue. It'll be the most up-to-date version as possible, so I'm not sure how many more updates are to come for them, but it'll be whatever their most recent is, which will be levels above this, which is good. I think you will be able to do tactics. Oh, in online games. That's a good call, Jacko. Not sure about online. Hopefully. You'd like to think so, because tactics online are a huge part of the gameplay there. No worries, Josh. Enjoy, mate. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Appreciate it. You're a superstar. Love your work. So I'll make sure I chat to you soon, no doubt. Hope Ashcroft looks good. Yeah, I think... Did we see him on one of the screenshots the other day from Steam, or was that someone else? I'm not sure. Yeah, and like most games, Jacko, most games have a patch that comes out day one, don't they, to fix bits and pieces, and just make sure you update it though, guys. Don't not update the patch, if that makes sense. So you can, select your captain, back up ruck, kick out, which is cool. The man himself, I don't know if players can request a trade, but I know clubs can poach you and make trade offers, and you can change the difficulty for that to be easy, hard, medium, same as salary cap and things like that. So how you set up your settings will kind of determine how hard or how aggressive people go after your players, I suppose. Why is it a 6-man bench? Good question. I'm not sure. I didn't see Coxie. I only played as Richmond versus Gold Coast, and then I saw Brisbane versus Carlton. And you could tell, like, when the gameplay started, the height difference, which was killing me in the ruck, absolutely killing me. No, Brandy, it's not, because I think the grounds in the game are ones that are played by VFL, AFL, or AFLW. So that's what happens, folks. You can still listen to the commentary if you want.
Between Richmond and Gold Coast. There aren't any points on the line today, but these two teams will still be going hard at each other as they trial new ideas and battle for bragging rights. And here come the visitors.
So that's where it ends. How hyped? I'm very hyped for release. I'll put the other video on while we're still talking. Bear with me a second. Yeah, so it sounds alright, Jacko. Like, I didn't mind it one way or another. Yep, so this video here, Dono, this is going to show you the draft, mid-season draft and things like that, so keep an eye on this one. And on Tom Lynch as well, I forgot to mention earlier, I noticed on the dev kit version he had all brown hair. In this one he does have the blonde tinge through his hair, so he's obviously had an update as well, which is good. So, but that's things they're going to obviously keep tweaking as they go, you know, with all the scans and adjusting players and things like that, giving them touch-ups. I'll pause it here in case there's anyone new wanting to see the salary piece for the player contracts in the management mode, because I think management mode's going to be one of the modes that gets played the most, to be honest. But here come the visitors. So I don't know if that was a pre-season game or not. I know 100 games. I know. I feel horrible about it. I wish I had better news, more, and I wish I had done checks earlier, but unfortunately real life stuff sometimes gets in the way of being able to sit down and go through it all with a fine-tooth comb. But look, the upside is I'll be able to get footage next week of the most up-to-date game, and I'll chuck it up on YouTube. So, and this stream that's happening now, I'll put the VOD up on Twitch straight after, and I'll upload it to YouTube as well so people can check it out. I do have a couple of other videos that I've almost completed with like a more in-depth analysis into seasons and things like that, which we've kind of covered off here anyway, so I might pop them up as well. Yeah, well, Brabs, I'd watched like all this stuff I'd watched, and the thumbnails all looked fine. Yeah, it's just the gameplay piece. But yes, lesson learnt most definitely. So you got trade offer here, trade period closed. Yep, Aussie, absolutely. So after the game, you go down into the rooms, the players are in the circle, you hear the song, and there's a bit of a celebration after. So there's also a half-time cutscene as well, where they go into the rooms and do some stretching and things like that, which is pretty cool. Nice little touch. It's the small details that count. Small details. Oh, I appreciate that, Salopek. Thank you. It's one of those things that you don't like to have to put that information out there. Especially, like, I don't know how many of you here tonight are from Big Footy, but like I'm a footy nuffy like everyone else, and I know how much everyone's looking forward to the game, and I know how much everyone's looking forward to seeing gameplay, and the desire and the excitement surrounding it. So yeah, I'm really flat that I couldn't bring that to you all tonight, and I promise you it wasn't a plan or a rickroll or anything like that. It was very, very late that I worked it out, but hopefully I can make up for it with some great looking gameplay next week for you. I didn't notice that, Ghouls, that hair changes brown. I'll have to watch that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the watch list works with the draftees. It'd be cool if it's got like live rankings in their stats update and things like that. I probably didn't ask enough questions about that part of the game, to be honest. Here's the quarter lengths for those who are wanting to know. Guffey Brothers. Oh, I didn't. Okay, I'll have to go back and rewatch that. But, I mean, for those obviously wanting gameplay, Twisty should have some gameplay stuff tomorrow. I'm not sure if Kados has got more stuff to reveal, so make sure you definitely check them out for the gameplay stuff, which no doubt you all will. It's just unfortunate that I've I've missed out on doing that piece, but it is what it is. Were there any other final questions before I wrap it up? Happy to try and answer whatever I can. But I think overall, guys, I think you're going to be happy with the end result. Like I said, I can't stress enough how invested and keen the AFL are for this game to be the best it can be. And previous editions of the game probably didn't have the same kind of level of support. I think now, with esports being so big and gaming being so big, they've really sunk some proper resources into it that are all over it at all levels. And they are super excited about what's to come for this game. Not just this one, but future editions as well. So I think the franchise in its entirety has got pretty high hopes. So I'm really comfortable with where it's at and the direction it's heading in. So it should be good. No, I didn't, Brandy. I didn't click on any Essendon players, much to the sock puppet's dismay. Even though I offered if he wanted to play several times, but yes. No, that's right. No worries, Stoney. All right. I don't recall you asking. I don't think I could have asked any more. So yeah, there we go. That's going to be a wrap. Yeah, there is free agents. So I think Selwood was listed as one of the free agents. So I assume that might work in one of those mid-season draft capacities maybe. I'm not sure how it all ties in, but I'm sure it all links in somehow. 100 games, yes, I did. In the gameplay, I did use different camera angles. So there's sliders within that. So you can, if you've got broadcast, for example, you can pull the camera back or raise it higher, lower. Your normal camera settings that you see. What did I try? I tried broadcast end to end. There was a couple of dynamic ones as well that were a little bit closer. It's going to be one of those things that everyone's going to have their own personal preference of what to use. I found the further back it was pulled, the better, because you could see where your players were running to create space. But then the downside of that is you probably lose how good the graphics look, from a kick-to-kick basis. But you obviously get the highlights and the replay after goal and things like that. But yeah, I think the camera angle is a real fascinating one. I didn't see a first-person view one, Sneed, but I didn't go through the entire list either. So maybe there was. Maybe I just didn't see it. What day? I'm not sure. We're working through that now. So I was chatting to Big Ant tonight in the AFL. It's probably more about trying to understand what went wrong. And I'm sure I'll touch base with them over the coming days. And we'll get that sorted. I'll let you all know, though. Once I know the day, I'll let you all know what's all happening. I felt like the watch list might say rookies and people in AFL. Possibly. It could be maybe if you're watching trade targets, that's a good call. It might have that as well, which would be awesome. But all right, guys, that is a wrap for tonight. I do apologise again with the gameplay piece. I feel bloody awful. 'Cause I know it's what we're all looking forward to. Appreciate the follow, Stoney. But yeah, keep an eye out for Twister's video tomorrow for some gameplay, and I'll let everyone know when I've got some new gameplay footage, and I'll upload it to YouTube. So it'll be all nice and fresh. But thank you for everyone for tuning in tonight. Much appreciated. I appreciate all the kind words of love and support given the circumstances. I understand it's not what I'd fully had hoped to deliver you all, but at least you got to see some stuff that maybe you hadn't seen before. Thank you for the follow, Brownie. No stress with answering the questions. Feel free to shoot me questions on Big Footy, on Twitter, on Discord, wherever. Happy to chat now that it's out in the open, we're allowed to, which is good. So yeah, feel free to ask away. And like I said, I'll upload this VOD to Twitch straight after this. So if you want to go back and re-watch anything, you can. And I'll upload it to YouTube as well. And yeah, from there, I'll go the Suns. Lucky did, welcome. And then from there, I will let everyone know when the new footage is achieved and we've got it edited. And a big thank you to Big Ann as well for offering to help get it edited up quicker using their faster computers as well next week. Obviously mindful of timelines with the game coming out next week. Much appreciated to Jane T. Big Ann for that as well. You're a legend. So thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight. Grok, thank you for your moderation work, mate. Much appreciated. Can I be your +1? Thank you to Sock Puppet and Herbie for coming along and doing some filming and stuff as well. And for not accepting my offer to play, you jerks. Lucky Dib, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. And yeah, I'll hopefully have some videos soon. And, you know, I've got Thursday off. So next Thursday, I've got the day off when the game launches. So I'll be streaming as soon as I can get it. I don't think it's possible. I would love to be able to have it pre-installed somehow. So I would love to do a midnight stream, but I don't think it's going to be possible based on what we've seen so far. But other than that, I'll be either at JB early in the morning picking the game up and installing it, or hopefully if the code works from the launch party, I'll use that and we'll get cracking.
Yeah.
And as soon as, and just early warning, as soon as Pro Team's available, on the assumption that it's packs of some kind or whatever method there is to obtain cards, the Sock Puppet, Herbie and I will be doing a massive stream to try and get as many cards as possible and showcase that for everyone. So thank you, Baz, for the follow, and for Beetle, much appreciated. Oh, that's no good, Stoney. Jesus. Hopefully he can get it quick enough. Oh, hopefully, Dib. Hopefully. We'll see how we go. Now, I appreciate everything the Big Ant and the AFL have done for me. Like, you got to understand, guys, in the context of everything, I'm a small fry content creator compared to like your KDOS and Twisties. They're elite at what they do. They've got a huge supporter base, and I know I'm only relatively new, but I'm also very passionate about AFL and supporting Australian dev companies who are doing their bit as well. So I'm happy to do my bit to help Big Ant. They're putting out a good game, and you know, the AFL and Big Ant have been kind enough to let me have a close look behind the scenes, and I'm really appreciative of that. And hopefully I can bring you some more footy videos in the near future. And happy to help them out for Cricket 24 as well, by the way, which I'm keen to play when that comes out before the Ashes. So J&T, if you're listening still, happy to help out for Cricket 24 too. No, I appreciate that, Grok. I appreciate it. As I'm just a passionate footy nuffy like everyone else at the end of the day. So have a good night, everybody. Much appreciated for tuning in. Thank you so much for the follows and the subs tonight, guys. You're absolute superstars. And I look forward to talking to you all on the various social platforms. And ask as many questions as you want. I'll be as honest as I can. And I will let you all know when the next bit of gameplay footage is going up next week after we go to Big Ant again. So have a good night, everybody. Stay safe. And let's get around the AFL23 game. Show it all the support we can, because it's going to be an absolute ripper, folks. You're going to love it. Enjoy. Have a good night, guys.